First off, I just want to preface this video by saying that I'm a fan of a division rival, but I woke up this morning, all right, with absolutely nothing in my mind, and then I go on. The first thing I see is a report that the Seattle Kraken have hired Dave Hakstol. That's right, Dave Hakstol as their head coach. And in my mind, I'm immediately thinking, wait, isn't this the guy that ruined the Flyers? Like, isn't this the same guy that was so mediocre for the Philadelphia Flyers that, he got fired and put aside for Alain Vigneault, who, to be fair, to his credit, Alain Vigneault is a good coach, but he brought the Flyers like 5 steps back. All right, and he stayed there longer than he should have, honestly, in my opinion. In his 3 seasons, his power play was middle ground, basically 15th or so. He, after getting fired from Philly, he was a part of the defense in Toronto, which is why, the gameplay has the Leafs and the Flyers in 2K9 here. The thing that I see wrong with this is, here's the thing. If the Kraken want any chance to replicate what Vegas did, you have to find a coach that can get the most out of his players. Now, I'm not saying that Hakstol can't do that. I'm saying that Hakstol is not the right guy for this job for me. I feel like Rick Tocchet could have been in this job. Hell, John Tortorella would have been such an interesting hire if they were able to get him. Although I don't think Tortorella would work well either with the Kraken. I feel like that, genuinely speaking, the Kraken needed a home run hire, because you're going into the, presumably, just saying, I believe we are going back to regular divisions. You are going into the Pacific. You have the squad of Vegas. The Golden Knights have Mark Stone, Max Pacioretty, Alex Pietrangelo. They have so many stars. All right. Then they're not going into the expansion draft, so they will be keeping most, if not all, of their stars. It will be mostly cap problems, though, that may end it. You do have the Canucks and the Flames, who, albeit are sort of mediocre teams, but they can still be interesting competition. It is the Pacific. You have the Ducks, the Kings, the Sharks. Although they are rebuilding, the Pacific Division, once again, proving to you that it things can happen that are super weird. You have the Edmonton Oilers. A lot of really good teams in the Pacific. And, let's face it, the Pacific Division is going to be a powerhouse next year. I'm not saying, it is going to be... I'm not saying it's going to be like... I'm not saying it's going to be like the best division, like the Metro, for example, but Dave Hakstol was a part of the Metropolitan Division, as well as the Atlantic and the North Division this year, which, honestly, the North Division... it seems a bit weak, but as you can see with Montreal, they have really knocked it out of the park. The Seattle Kraken, though, I don't know where they fit in to the Pacific. Honestly, if I were looking at a team that could possibly be the spoiler in that Pacific, it has to be the Seattle Kraken. They are not going to get a lot of center help. You're looking at Hakstol. He was in charge of that defense. Who, to be fair, T.J. Brody, Morgan Riley, the year before that, Tyson Barrie, Cody Ceci, Morgan Riley, Travis Dermott, Rasmus Sandin, Timothy Liljegren, a lot of those guys, a lot of those guys in there. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how Hakstol does. I think that he's not the best hire for the job. I feel like Dave Hakstol, could have been greater as an assistant coach. Ron Francis could be a genius, and he could be hiring a guy that will win them a Stanley Cup. Who knows? But those are just my thoughts here on the Hakstol hire. Obviously, I just preface this out. I am a fan of a division rival. I feel like the Kraken, though, are going to be a team in what is looking to be like either a strong or a weak Pacific. It depends, considering the fact that you're seeing, obviously, Edmonton. You have Vegas. You have Vancouver, Calgary, San Jose, Anaheim, Los Angeles. Most of those teams are rebuilding. Most of those teams. And if the Pacific is weak enough, I feel like that there will be a team that Seattle has to play that is just stronger than them in every facet. And even if Seattle doesn't make the playoffs, Hackstall is being handed potentially, okay? He is being handed potentially very good goaltending, depending on who they pick. A very good defense, that's for certain, but a interesting forward core. There are not there are not that many top line centers available. You're going to get some nice, second or third line centers, no first line centers, obviously. You have to look for misfits, and if Hackstall, I could be wrong, if he can get the most out of their players, that is exactly what Seattle needs. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.